So all my Google Sheets tutorial on how to retrieve live crypto data, and all those methods are invalid anymore. So I decided to come up with a more robust and stable solution to fetch like crypto price and some other relevant information that can be helpful for investing. Now, before diving into the tutorial, let me just give you a quick demo on the solution that I came up with. So basically, I created a function called getCoinInfo. And all the data points here are coming from LiveCoinWatch's API. Now, first you need to make sure that you register for account, and I'll link all the links in the description below. So with LiveCoinWatch's API, you get 10,000 requests per day for free. And for personal projects and personal analysis, this is more than enough. Now, once you sign up for account, you want to go to the API tab or API page. Then you want to scroll down and make sure that you have a valid API key. Now here we can go to the documentation. Now don't worry about if you don't understand any of these resources. But the main one you want to focus on is this coin single endpoint. So each endpoint represents different information. So for example, this coin single endpoint represents that you want to fetch the crypto's data for a certain coin. And coinsless endpoint is going to return multiple crypto's items. And coinsless endpoint is going to return multiple crypto coins in a single response. But here we want to focus on retrieving one coin's information at a time. Now from the response section, here are all the available fields that you can access. But for now, I'm only using these three fields. But you can always come back to the documentation, which I also link in the description below. Now with this function, you have 4 parameters. So the last parameter is actually a workaround to force the information to get refreshed. And let me fix the spacing. Now this getCoinInfo function takes 3 parameters: the ticker symbol, field name, and currency, which also are corresponding to the requested session. So these are the parameters in which I incorporate into the function here. And later in the tutorial, I'll also show you how we can enforce the formula to recalculate every minute, every hour, or within a certain time interval. I want to just do a quick demonstration. So let's say I want to insert a new field. Let's use age. Actually, I would have age in the table here. And let's use market. So basically, we can take this function here, and we can autofill the empty cells. Now, based on the field name, it's going to auto-populate the market information. And I can autofill the formula to autofill the missing information based on the remaining coins. To create such function, so first one here, let me just go ahead and create a new Google Sheets. I'm going to start everything from scratch. And I'll name this function as getCoin function tutorial. Then you want to go to extensions. Then click on apps script. If you ever worked with VBA before or any programming language, you can create JavaScript functions to enhance the functionalities of your Google Sheets project or your Google Sheets template. And this project is going to tie to your Google Sheets file. And here, let's name this as coin.info project. I'm going to create 2 functions. The first function is going to be the getCoinInfo function. And here we have the first parameter, which is the ticker symbol, followed by field name, currency, and trigger. Now, the reason why we need this trigger parameter is because in Google Sheets, if you try to force functions or formulas to recalculate, unfortunately, custom functions does not get recalculated automatically. So we need to use this triggers parameter to link to a function where the value will get updated. So for example, based on the function's parameters, if one of the arguments value got updated, and that event is going to force the formula to recalculate. So therefore, we have this second function, force update function. And this function will basically insert the timestamp in cell A1. So when we schedule the trigger, we just need to run this force update function to run within a certain time frame. Now going back to the getCoinInfo function, right here you need to make sure that you update your API key. So for example, going back to the API key, me just go ahead and copy my API key and simply replace the API key with yours. Then this is the endpoint, and which is going to be the route here. Now, assuming that you want to get other information, such as the contract information, in that case, you can simply make a copy of this function and change the endpoint from coins single to coins contract. And these are going to be all the available fields that you can access. Oh, and this should be here. And payload is going to be your arguments. So we have 3 arguments. And response is going to be the output from the API. Then we need to pass information and return the value based on the field name, which are these right here. And return output will return the value. Now here, make sure that you save the file. And that's what you need. So I'm going to simply copy this table here. And I'll also copy the columns. Now here we can either insert the function force update. Actually, that's okay. Yeah. I think there's one more step that we need to do. So here, let's test out the functionality of force update, because we need to give permission to this project to be able to insert values in our Google Sheets file. Now here, make sure that you change the function to force update, then click on run. Now it's going to ask you for your permission. So click on review permissions and choose your account. On this page, you want to click on events because your app is not verified by Google. And you only need to do that. Oh, actually, let me go back. And you only need to do that if you want to put your app on the marketplace. Now here you want to click on go to CoinInfo project. And here you want to allow the permission. Now that will execute the function, which is going to be this force update function. Now if we go back to our Google Sheets, you will now see that in cell A1, we now have the current timestamp. Now we can take the function. So that means that the functions are live. So we can copy paste the function here. I need to update the cell reference. And this will be B5. And this will be C3. C4, not C3. And for the currency, I'm going to set that to USD. And the trigger cell is going to be A1. And enter. Now I can autofill the formula to the right and to the bottom. And all the data points that are tied to each crypto coins is now populated. Now again, you can simply add new fields. Let's do cap. And simply autofill the formula. And we now have a new field of information is now available. All right, so that's going to be the first item. Now let's talk about how to refresh the formulas. Let's go back to our app script project. On the left-hand side, you see a bunch of icons. Right here, you want to click on triggers. Now we're going to add a new trigger. So a trigger is basically an event to do something. or if certain events happens, now he wants to ask you the force update function, and we're going to keep the deployment the same. And for the event source, we want to choose time-driven. But if you want, you can also use calendar to schedule the formula recalculate. But here I'm going to choose time-driven. And you have different units, so you can update the spreadsheets or formulas every minute, hour, day, week, or even month. But here I'm going to choose minute, and I can set the interval based on every minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or half hour. And for now, I'm going to choose every minute, then save the trigger. Now, keep in mind that you can create multiple triggers. You're not only limiting to one. Let's do this. I'm going to go back. And let me run the function again. All right, so I'll go to the same steps. Now let's create the trigger again. And it's going to be time driven. Okay, this should be a minute. And save. And once we create the trigger will run every minute. And just in case, if you run into any error, you can click on this dot symbol. Then click on fail executions. And that'll display the error message to tell you that why the trigger failed to run. And right now, my trigger hasn't run into any issue. The current time is 5:21 and 54 seconds. I'm going to wait 1 more minute for the trigger to fire. All right, so it looks like the trigger is updated. And for some reason, I don't see the timestamp getting updated. Let me just take a look at the function real quick. Okay, so the trigger indeed got executed. And it was executed on 12:22 p.m., which is Chicago CST time. But anyway, I can see that the trigger is working. And here the timestamp got updated. All right, so this is going to be everything I'm going to cover in this tutorial. And you can find all the source code in the description below. And feel free to post a question or feedback in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.